Hey Snowboard Addiction, Tavis here. I'm with a snowboarding specific trainer, Jeremy, and he's going to walk us through a few exercises. All right, Jeremy, what do you have in store for me?
So yeah, for this one we're going to be doing basically like an intermediate workout. We're going to give you some ideas on exercises that you can incorporate into your routine and a basic structure of your workout that can help you prepare for snowboard season and make sure that you're working the right muscle groups in the right way.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do it.
So we're going to start basically with some mobility to warm up the muscles and get your joints moving in the right way. Then we're going to move on to some core control stuff and then on to more snowboard specific leg strength and explosive movements, okay?
Sounds good.
So the first one we're going to do is cat-cows. So this is a spine warm-up that's really good for keeping your back healthy. So we're going to do a big arch up to the ceiling, looking down and then flexing the spine. So basically we're flexing, extending the spine. When we extend, we're looking up to the ceiling, and when we flex, we're going chin to our chest. So let's do that 10 times.
This is a really popular workout. If you go to any snowboard contest, you'll see a bunch of athletes on the floor early in the morning doing this one.
Yeah, if anyone has ever had back pain before, it's definitely one of those where you can't do much. So the first priority for snowboarding is keeping your back healthy, really for any sport. So yeah, let's do 2 more of each position, and then we're going to move on to some other exercises. Big arch.
And then I'm just tightening my core when I'm going in like this, and then loosening it when I go up. Is that correct?
So yeah, you're controlling the muscles of the front and the back of your spine to allow it to flex and extend. So you're trying to exaggerate, push your range of motion. Okay? The next one is going to be on our back. It's called an eagle. So you're lying on your back, you're reaching your foot up to the ceiling and going across your body. So this one you should feel all through the side of your body.
Yeah, I feel this one in quite a few spots.
Yeah, so we're gonna alternate. So we're gonna come back to a neutral position now. We're gonna reach that right leg up to the ceiling first and then across. Yeah. So for this one, we're stretching all of the muscles on the right side of our body when we reach to our left and coming back to the center. And then all the muscles of the left of our body when we reach over to the right. So we worked through those cat-cows to flex and extend the spine. Now we're allowing it to rotate, and we're stretching the outside of the legs, which is an important thing. You need to keep your spine working well, but your hips also need to be flexible too. So we're trying to prioritize both right now.
Okay, yeah, this is, I really feel it all up my glute, all up my side, but it's like a nice healthy stretch. I feel like I'm also like actively engaging my muscles when I do it.
Yeah, so maybe 5 per side. Let's do 1 more per side after this one, and then we'll move on. We try to do flexibility exercises that incorporate a bunch of different joints at the same time. So rather than doing, left finger, right finger, we're trying to do lots of different things at the same time, especially for an efficient at-home workout. Good, so the next stretch we're gonna do, you're gonna flip over onto your front. This one's a bit more dynamic, and we're gonna step our right foot beside our hands and rotate to our right side. So this one we're working on some of the hip flexors, the muscles in the front of your hip. And then we're going to alternate 5 per side as well for this one. And we're making sure that we're keeping our hand right under our shoulder, and we're allowing the spine to rotate again. So this one, again, is a little bit of spine, a little bit of hips. And you do need to use your core to hold yourself in a good position. You don't want to let your body slump to the floor. So it is a more active flexibility.
Yeah.
Especially before working out, we always want to be dynamic in our movements. So we don't want to hold our stretches, just reach for our toes, things like that, because that's not going to warm up the muscles. We're trying to build a little bit of blood flow, get a little bit of heat, and make sure we're moving our joints through their full range of motion. So yeah, let's do 1 more on each leg, and then that's sort of the end of our little mobility section, and we'll move on to core.
Nice. How important would you say mobility is for snowboarding?
I think it's probably the biggest foundation you can have. Like, even if you're lacking a little bit of strength, being flexible is going to allow you to recover from any snowboarding, like falls or any overuse stuff that you're doing, right?
So really important, don't skip it.
Exactly. So the next one we're going to do is inchworm. You're going to reach down to your toes, hands on the floor, and then walk out to a push-up position. So when you reach down for the toes, you're going to get a hamstring stretch. And then when you walk all the way out, we're strengthening our core by keeping our body flat and strengthening the shoulders. Shoulders are an important one for snowboarding too. Let's do 5 reps of those. So what we're going to do is make sure that our hips are nice and square to the floor, that you aren't waving side to side when you walk in and out.
And do I want to reach all the way up like and extend my spine and then go back down?
Yeah, so we're getting a little bit of control of the spine with our core. Any core exercise is really just controlling your trunk. So we're making sure that it's always in a good neutral position. Unlike our cat-cows at the beginning where we were flexing and extending, while you're exercising or while you're doing something that is building strength, we want it to be flat because that's pretty much its basic state. We want to have the mobility, but once you're doing the strength exercises, we want to keep it stable so we have stability.
And that's for snowboarding as well. There's almost no situations where you don't want your back to be nice and proper with that core strong.
Exactly.
So it's good to incorporate that training.
Yeah, workouts are basically challenging you to maintain that posture. Okay, the next core exercise we're going to do is a side plank. So you're going to come down onto the mat. We're going to do our elbow right under our shoulder. Our feet are going to be stacked, and you're going to lift your hips off the ground. We're going to just hold this one. Let's hold 20 seconds. Okay, 20 to 30. So what we're going to do with this one is strengthen that shoulder that you're on. Again, shoulders, though it's snowboarding, you're not using your arms too much. When you are, they need to be strong because that means you put a hand down, you fell, or you're trying to hold your grab stronger. So having a little bit of shoulder strength is always going to help. This one also strengthens the side of our core. Before, with our inchworms, we were strengthening more the front, and now we're more on the sides. It's a 360-degree core.
Yeah, I feel this all on my back, all on my side, even getting up into like my chest muscles in there.
So that's what we want to feel. Why don't we try the other side? Let's do 30 on the other side. This one, it's always good to do one side and then the other, so you never want to be just doing one side and making yourself asymmetrical. Symmetry is not always perfect. You always feel that you have one side that's easier than the other, but we want to try to balance the two. That's the goal. So
For sure.
How's this side feel in comparison?
This side is definitely stronger for me.
Nice. Yeah, so you're always going to feel things like that for sure.
But
Okay.
definitely feel this one. This is one of my favorite ab exercises.
Nice. Okay, that one's good, Tavis. So now what we're going to be doing is moving on to a little bit of balance. So we've done our mobility, we've done our core, now we're going to do balance. So what I'll do for you this time is we're going to do a single leg balance. You're going to come into your squat position, just a low athletic stance. We never want our knees locked. And then find your balance, and once you have it, try to close one eye, and then try to close both eyes. And we're going to try to take some visual stimulus away from your balance and see if you can hold yourself.
That's made it much harder.
So we're going to
so much more muscles being used.
So you can see all the muscles of the shin, ankle, knee, hip, everything is working to keep yourself nicely in line, hip, knee, and ankle in one nice straight line. So let's do the other side now. Let's compare. So you can open your eyes again, reset, find your balance, one eye closed,
yeah,
and then the other.
When my eyes are open, I'm like solid, and as soon as I close my eyes, I'm using so many micro muscles.
Yeah, so our balance really involves a lot of different systems within our body. There's one in our inner ear, there's one with our visual, and then there's one called proprioception, which is all the muscles have little feedback sensors to tell us where we're at in space. So we're trying to take away the visual stimulus, and that way we can find our balance and that's a good injury prevention technique.
Yeah, I feel like my knee won't turn out, and I'm using my muscles to pull it back in line.
Exactly, yeah. That's good. So your balance is pretty good. That's another symmetry possibility one. So let's jump right now into some leg strength exercises, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on some lunging. So we're gonna do our 3-point lunge, which is a forward lunge, then a side lunge, then a reverse lunge. Okay, let's do 3 of each position. So lunge forward, pushing back, lunge to the side, pushing back, and reverse lunge. Nice, now let's do the other leg. So forward, side, and reverse. So that would be 1 repetition. Let's do 3 total.
Okay.
Okay, so each position 3 times. So when we're doing this exercise, you're strengthening the leg that's basically bending, so the right side here, and then when you step back, it's more your weight in the front foot with your left. So anytime you're exposing yourself to a low position where your knees and hips are bent, you're strengthening and making sure that your ankle, knee, and hip are working together. Any crouch position in snowboarding, we need them all to be working well, like a spring.
For my knees when I'm doing these lunges, do I want it to like knees over toes or try to keep it like behind the toes?
You don't want your knee to go way over your toe to the point that your heel lifts off, but you don't need to necessarily fear the knee going too far forward. It all depends on your ankle range of motion. So if you're doing your lunge and your heel comes off, then that's too far. But if you can maintain that foot flat, then it's never going to be too far, because in snowboarding, your knee does go over your toe, right?
Yeah.
So we do need to expose our joints to the types of movements that the sport requires.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I wasn't counting. I don't know if I think I have 1 more to go.
Sure, let's do 1 more. So we're working on basically single leg strength. Again, with the symmetry, if we do single leg exercises, we're going to allow some of those imbalances that snowboarding creates, where the back foot gets a little more work than the front foot in snowboarding, stuff like that. We're going to sort of try to work against that. Anytime you're working out or exercising, you want to try to work on that symmetry.
Okay.
The next strength exercise we're going to do is strengthening our hamstrings. So this is a single leg deadlift. So you're going to have hands on your hips. You're going to reach the heel back. You should feel a stretch through the back of the right leg, and then you're coming back forward. So let's do 10 on one side, then 10 on the other. This one is a different movement, unlike our lunge and a squat if we were doing those, where we're upright with our chest. This one, we're allowing our chest to come forward. The only thing we want to prevent is allowing our chest to flex. So we don't want to bend our upper body down to the floor. We want to work on that neutral spine.
Sort of like you're using your glute as like a pivot muscle.
Yeah, so this one is all about the strength of the back of your hip and your hamstrings. And the stronger your hamstrings are, the safer your knee is, because your hamstrings can help stabilize your knee. So that's a really important one. The other thing is we're working on a little bit of balance here too, because being on 1 foot for that duration of that repetition is a challenge.
Yeah, I feel it all the way in my glutes, going all the way into the balls of my feet.
Yeah, so let's do 1 more and then we'll switch. We'll see the other side.
Ooh.
Nice. You can also do this one alternating, left one and then the right one. But like you said, oof at the end of that one.
Yeah.
If you do them in a row on the same leg, it can be a little more challenging. But if you need to give yourself that break, you can do that too.
So if you're struggling with it, do 1 leg, then the other. And if you want that serious burn, you can do them all in a row.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, there's a fine line between muscle burn and being so tired that you're not doing the exercise correctly. So we want to try to prioritize technique. And then after that, if you can maintain technique, a little extra burn is just going to build your muscle endurance, which will only help your snowboarding.
That makes sense, especially like snowboarding is such a form accurate based sport. You don't want to be doing stuff that's compromising your form.
Yeah. Good, so I'll do 1 more of those, and then that'll be the end of our strength exercise. So the exercises we've done to this point, if you're looking for more of a workout, you could always just repeat, right?
Yeah.
So now to finish off this workout, we're going to be doing some jumping. So what we're going to do for this one is we're going to do some single leg jumps. So we'll be on our right foot. You're going to come into a crouch position, jump, land, and try to stay stable. Let's do 5 on the right, 5 on the left. So now you should be basically thinking about the positions we got to in our lunge, and we're just doing them faster and trying to challenge ourselves to maintain them and keep our balance. Good. So let's see the left side now, 5. The same thing, working on single leg strength, making sure that we're nice and stable, and you're doing a good job of keeping your torso in a good position. So yeah, that's our single leg jumps. We're staying in just in one spot though. So if we want to make it a little bit harder, our next exercise is a side bound. So what you're going to do is you're going to be on your right foot, you're going to jump across, land on your left. So working on lateral movements. When we work on side to side, what we're doing is we're strengthening basically the outside of the body, because that's what stops us from going over and landing on the floor beside us. So if we can stabilize that landing, you're going to strengthen the muscles of your foot, your ankle, and then all of the same balance challenges that we're working on with our knee.
Is there a limit to how far I want to jump? Like, should I be like trying to max push it?
Same thing as what we were talking about in the last exercise. It's one of those things where technique comes first and going further comes second. So if you can land in a good position, jump 100 meters that way.
What if I could?
That's the goal, yeah. And then the last exercise we're going to do, we're jumping and landing. We've worked on stationary side to side. Now we're going to work on rotation. If you're ever on a snowboard, you know that there are twists and turns that come, so we're trying to stabilize for those. So what we'll do is we'll work on the right leg. You're going to do 90-degree jump and stick. And we're going to go clockwise for the first one, or that's counterclockwise, but we're going to do either way.
All right, I'll go.
This is challenging body and mind. So
yeah.
Clockwise, you're going to do 90 degrees at a time until you've come all the way around. Now we're going to go the other way.
Oh, other way, not other leg. All right. That's definitely a burner.
Same thing, that's a little more challenging. 90 degrees. Nice, good, and then you can switch sides. So let's do the same thing, 4 in one direction, 4 in the other.
All right.
So this one is much more challenging. You're doing a really good job of stabilizing, but it is definitely harder to keep that alignment of hip, knee, and ankle, which we're working on in all of our exercises, because we're adding in the rotational element. Good save. So every time you save yourself like that, you're working on injury prevention, because snowboarding, whether you get a little bit of chatter when you're snowboarding or if you're hitting a 60-foot jump, regardless, there is a point where you need to find your position again.
So when doing that exercise, make sure you lock in your position before popping the next 90.
Yeah.
We're not just trying to.
Exactly, it's not a race. Yeah, we're working on technique. Yeah, so that's sort of our intermediate workout for getting ready for snowboard season. What do you think?
Well, I'm definitely a bit winded, definitely a bit tired. Great workout. I worked all the groups that I really feel I'm weak in snowboarding, I really utilize, especially all that hip opening and everything. So
awesome.
That was a good workout.
Good job.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm going to be excited to try out these new muscles when winter rolls around.
I'm excited to find out how it goes.